And what's doing, guys? Back with the fresh vinyl video. And today it's episode 9 of the Bandai Marathon, Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, 1964, second film from Toho in the Godzilla series, Showa Golden Era Freshness. Okay? Alright, so, second 1964 film. As you've known, I always say that the 64 films are my top 2 favorite movies. Mothra vs. Godzilla, number 1, and Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, number 2. Okay? Now, some people pronounce the three-headed king here, his name is Ghidorah. If you look at the poster, the American poster, it's actually, that's how it was written, Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster. And then in the dubs, we hear the actors or the voice actors saying Ghidorah, Ghidorah, Ghidorah. So that's where it appears that's where that originated from. But what do I know? I'm not an expert. Speaking of not being an expert, in the last video, I was talking about the Mothra larvas, okay? And the Mothra larva, both twins in Mothra vs. Godzilla, had blue eyes, okay? So the figure that I was looking at was technically a 64 Mothra larva from Mothra vs. Godzilla. But in this movie, Mothra's eyes are now red. I had said in that video that Mothra didn't have red eyes until Destroy All Monsters, and that was inaccurate. The fun part about me doing these videos, I'm learning as I'm going. I'm like fine-tuning things that I thought I knew or things that I did know, but I'm picking up little details that I find really interesting, and that's the fun part about doing this, okay? So in Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, Mothra now has red eyes. You know, the twin fairies say, oh, the old one died. You know, maybe, you know, they're talking about the adult Mothra, or they're talking about the older Mothra larva, you know, maybe the one that came out of the egg first was technically older. Discussion, right? But anyways, the Mothra larva in Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, has red eyes. With that said, we actually don't have a proper, to my knowledge, you know, we don't have a proper Bandai 64B Mothra larva, as we'll call it. Because if you know that the Godzilla suit in Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, they call it the 64B. There was some modifications in the jaw made to the suit after his battle with Mothra, okay? So, there's that. And now, Rodan, clearly, you know, Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra are fighting Ghidorah in the movie. We never had a 64, a 65, a 68 Showa Rodan. Like, where are we with that? Like, why do we not have a Showa Rodan 64? We have the 56, but no 64. Like, come on, Bandai. Let's go. Let's go. So, for this video, I really only have the Ghidorahs to talk about. I brought up the 64 Godzillas just to show for size comparisons and whatnot, but Ghidorah is the only figure that is part of that movie's lineup from Bandai, okay? So, with that said, let's get into this, because, and like I said, I'm not an expert. Even just reading stuff on Club Tokyo and talking with other collectors, Brandon Shields, like, boom, like, you're like the damn man when it comes to damn tags. So, bear with me. I may get this wrong. I'm going to try to get it right. So, the first King Ghidorah figure, Showa 64 Ghidorah figure, came out in Bandai. Wait, which one am I looking at here? Yeah, this one right here. So, 1984's plastic tag Ghidorah. And see, this is why I got to be careful. So, like the other early Bandai figures, they came with a plastic tag. This one actually has a punch hole in it. Let me look at this thing. Did anybody ever try to tag it? Doesn't look like it. But, and then now I got to think, did the other plastic tags have the hole in there either? But I don't know. Some collectors back in the day, they would actually go tag the figures, because I guess at the time people didn't realize that they weren't meant to be tagged, you know, in the early days. But plastic tag, Ghidorah on the front and on the back with Gigan. So technically speaking, this is the Ghidorah from actually Destroy All Monsters on one side and Godzilla vs. Gigan on the other. When really this is the 64 Ghidorah. That's it's a Showa Ghidorah. I mean, it was basically the same throughout the Showa series up until Godzilla vs. Gigan. A whole new suit was made because the one in Destroy All Monsters was beat to shit. Okay? So, now, something about my 84 plastic tag is when I bought this at G-Fest in 2013, I made the purchase, and then somebody said, hey, you've got 2 middle heads. So the middle head and the right head are identical. The right head is actually a middle head. If you look at the left head, the right head is supposed to be like the left head where he's got a little curvature to him. Somebody, the right head must have been damaged, and somebody swapped it out. The worst thing in the world? No. But that's how I bought it, and I'm okay with that. It's fine. It's not really... You probably wouldn't have even noticed it until I pointed it out, because I didn't notice it when I made the purchase. But I'm a dingbat, so there's that, okay? Now, the figure itself, and I will talk about the sculpt and all that stuff. Oh, there goes the tag. Flew away. Now, point of articulation at the legs, the tail, and, of course, the heads. And the wings. You can move the wings. Can you see that? Am I just going out of frame here? All right? So... that's it. Again, not true articulation, but that's just how the figure was made, so it can be put together. Paint job, this is a golden yellow with some subtle black highlights on the wings, chest. Now Shinra Jira's got me thinking about his Ghidorah's breast. That's never gonna get old now. Yeah, some highlights about the body. The heads are painted really nicely done. Eyes with black pupils, silver highlights over there, teeth, mouth, all that good stuff is painted up. But the detail looks really good. For a 1984 figure, this was probably, the best-looking figure of that time, as far as the detail goes. The wings, definitely on the small side, probably because, for size, sculpting, price point, and all that. The figure was retailed, again, based off the information that I found from Club Tokyo, 1,600 yen. So in today's dollars, that's $10, 11 bucks, give or take. Not bad. Not bad. Imagine being able to collect this stuff then. Awesome. All right. So that's the figure. All right, moving on to 1988. We have another Ghidorah. This one with the tag, a paper tag, not a plastic tag anymore. Much like the 88 reissue Godzilla 64. Do I have his tag there? No. Oh, well. Tag comes detached, and I believe this was actually supposed to be tagged because he's got a tag hole in his moob, but I might retag that once I find my plastic hangers. But that's the tag for that one. So this came out in 1988, also price point, from what I understand, is 1,600 yen. This one has got more of a duller, yellowish gold paint job. Stands out a little bit more against the original 84. This one, if you look at the heads, I actually have all the right heads on this one. Boom. Articulation, sculpt, identical to that of the original. Now, one I don't have, actually, we're going to move on to 2 that I don't have, is the Damn tag, released in 1989. That has the Destroy All Monsters tag. That one is one of the rarest Ghidorah figures to find with the tag on it. And that figure, it's the same sculpt, same points of articulation, detail, and all that. Paint job, I believe, is very similar to the 88 first reissue. But yeah, so that one's rare. So if you see somebody having that one, they got the goods. Now, another one that I don't have anymore that I used to have was the Memorial Box version. That figure came in the 40th anniversary Memorial Box in 1995. That paint job on that one's pretty just bland. The whole figure was made in a yellow, but no highlights about the figure at all. The faces were painted up and the gums and teeth and all that and eyes. But that figure is identical to the sculpts on these. Okay? So, did I get all that? I think so. Yeah. Now, before we move on to these, Bandai Premium did release another, or a box set, or I think they were individual, but there was a box set with them too, of a new, in 2020, a new sculpted Showa 64 Ghidorah. One in the standard colors and one in the blue colors. The red, white, or red, gold, and blue. Yeah, these colors. And now I completely forget the name of this version. Somebody comment in the sections to correct my dumbass. This is how well I do my homework. But I really want to get those. I think I'm gonna hunt those down because those sculpts look beautiful. So the Bandai Premium 2020 Ghidorah set, phenomenal. The sculpt looks great, and they come with hang tags and a couple. I think the blue one comes with extra heads. Beautiful. Gotta hunt those down. All right, so now moving on to the two new ones here, all right? I'm going to talk about this one first. So this, because this one came out first. This came in the DREAM5 set. Literally, just got this maybe a month and a half ago or so, or something like that. Not even 2 months. So a newly sculpted Showa 64 Ghidorah. Beautiful. Honestly, I mean, it's sculpted really nice. The paint job, it's basically just gold throughout the whole figure. There are no highlights at all about the figure. The face, the heads are basically painted. Eyes, the teeth, actually, no, the teeth are not even, can't even tell. It looks like the teeth are all just gold. The tongues are painted subtle red. His hair, you know, he's got some brown highlights on that. Not a horrible paint job, but considering this was a box set, I would have thought the paint job would have had a little bit more of attention. Not the worst thing. The only points of articulation are at the legs, which is a shame because if you're looking at this or you've seen the photos, the heads are crunched together, and it would have really looked cool if the heads were further apart like that, give or take. So I might mess around with the hairdryer or not. I might just not mess with it. The other the other detracting thing here is the wings are mushed and pushed back too. Now, it looks like Ghidorah's wings, like as if he was flapping his wings, like he's getting ready for a whole, flap. So it differentiates, compared to other Ghidorah figures we have, but it just would have been cool if the wings were a little bit like that. You know what I mean? Not horrible. Not horrible. I'm forgiving it. So that's that one from the DREAM5 set. But moving on to this one. This one is one word, 5 letters, fresh. Yeah, I stole that from Usos. I like that, actually. But yeah, this one is freaking awesome. Same sculpt, but this one was packaged in a box with a V cardboard piece in there to keep the wings from getting mushed. So this one's got the wings looking really good. Kind of like 80% flap. And the heads are not as crunched and squished like the other one. But all in all, the sculpt is identical. Clearly, the difference on this one is we got the red, blue, and gold paint job. Now, what's this paint job? I have the X Plus version up there. You can't see it. I ain't taking it down. I'll break it. And this was the original concept design for what Ghidorah was going to look like. Toho later decided, E.G. Tsuburaya decided, we're just going to do all gold. And, clearly that was the proven right decision. But this is so damn cool. Really, really cool. I dig the paint job on this one. Blue, red, gold, combo. Everything looks really great. No loss of detail on the figure at all with this paint job. It actually, I feel like it makes the paint or the details pop. So, it looks really good. The tag's right there. Hang tag. I can't believe I can't remember the version. The name of the version. I'm not a real fan. I'm a fake fan. I'm not a... What do I know? So, there's that. All right? So, that's your 64B lineup. Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster. And clearly I forgot to mention, we got the 6-inch 64 here. So these scale really nice. And then I will say that I feel like Godzilla is a little bit out of scale for the 8-inch figures, but not by much. They look good. So we really need a 64 Rodan, please. And how about this? A 64 Rodan and a 64 Mothra B. 64B Mothra, okay? Let's go. Come on, Bandai, you can do it. And anybody that's watching that's got the ins with the Bandais, peoples, tell them to let's do this. Let's go. Opportunities are waiting and knocking. All right, that's it. That's episode 9, Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster of the Bandai Marathon. Next up, we'll be moving to 1965's Monster Zero. I can't wait. Actually, this is, I can wait. But I can't wait. It's fun. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you on the next episode of Fresh Vinyl Videos Bandai Marathon. And remember, people, buy vinyl, fresh vinyl. Bam!